Dave is a Parsippany resident.
Yes, my whole life.
A volunteer firefighter.
Yes, 30 years.
30 years.
Yep.
Fire. Okay, nice. You're one of the other fire investigators, which is one of the reasons why I'm riding with you today, because we're going to follow up on the fire that occurred last week.
Correct.
Which this vlog is about. So the reason why we're going up to District 1 is because I didn't get a chance to talk to the chief on scene because he was doing incident command. And he was really busy, so obviously. So, the fire chief.
Actually, 3 of us that are trained for fire, arson, explosives investigation. One is Sergeant Ed Conklin, Detective Marcin Chaika, your ex-best friend, and
my ex-best
myself.
friend?
Yeah, didn't his wife steal him away from you or something like that?
You've been watching.
Everything burns up, and then the water damage, the smoke damage, the heat damage. So it's very difficult to investigate, so I like the challenge. Parsippany's almost 30 square miles, and we do have 6 fire districts, 100% volunteer, broken up into the different areas, Lake Hiawatha, Mount Tabor, Rainbow Lakes, Lake Parsippany. Fire commissioners are like the employers, okay, and they take care of paying for the training and the trucks and equipment, and then they all have separate chiefs and officers, line officers.
Okay, we'll get into that more now. I don't want to keep the fire chief waiting.
All right.
Thanks.
I'm David Hollander. I'm the chief of Mount Tabor, which is better known as Parsippany District 1.
Yeah, if you could just take us through some of the stuff that you were doing on scene, because you were at your back of your truck here was all pretty much
we want
set up.
to gingerly walk over.
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Why gingerly?
Well, because we're both attached.
We're both attached to each other.
That's exactly.
I'm working on a better mic, believe me.
So yeah, this was the command post for the fire at Stockton Court. Try to keep track of all the units we have on scene. Also, it gives me the communications with the county dispatch, Parsippany, and my teams inside with using the ground radios. During the course of the fire, we were keeping track of what units were where in the house. We keep track of who our backfills are, who are actually going to cover for us if we get another call while we're operating at this call.
In the video, you'll see that I say, here's some of the medical equipment, but that's actually for the RIC team, right?
For the RIC team, yeah. RIC is a Rapid Intervention Crew. Their job is to go in if there's a firefighter that goes down or is in trouble, lost inside the building because of smoke, runs out of air, has a medical condition. They train non-stop to go in and rescue those guys. Okay. They're also used for a civilian. If we get a report of a civilian trapped on one side of the building and we have interior crews on the other side, they'll go in and get the civilian for us. And as soon as that team is activated, we bring in another one or maybe even 2, depending on the size of the incident. Okay. At Stockton, just because of the volume of fire, the danger of collapse we had 2 RIC teams there at all times.
Wow.
That ended up to be a 3rd alarm fire because of some other issues that we had on scene and stuff like that.
It's pretty serious.
It definitely was. Yeah. Definitely was. When we arrived on scene,
it was fully engulfed.
It was fully engulfed. All floors. The roof had already started to collapse.
Yeah.
Within about 3 minutes of arriving on scene, the back of the house had collapsed.
Yeah. Wow. Yep.
Chimney flares. These things are great. We roll up on the chimney fire. The chief is normally going to be there a couple minutes before an engine. We're able to take this in, put it inside the firebox of the fireplace, and it's basically an extinguisher.
Really?
This is what we call called a Fit 5. Packed with a salt substance that absorbs all the heat inside of a structure and will suffocate and extinguish a fire within a certain defined range.
Wow.
A small fire, bedroom and contents. The chief can get on scene, grab this, go inside the building, deploy it, close the door to close off the fire, and this will help extinguish it until the trucks get there. We used it once at Dogwood up in Mount Tabor section.
I saw flames coming out, and you were the assistant chief at the time, correct?
Yeah, I was.
And you had one of these, and he's like, I'm going to go in and see, what I could do to put it out. I'm like, well, be careful, you're by yourself. So I got in as much as possible, sucking in some smoke and keep an eye on him as best as possible. And he went in with one of these, and I didn't even recall what it was at the time. I'm like, he's just going in, I grabbed an extinguisher or whatever, and he comes back out, and he's like, it should be okay. I'm like, what do you mean it should be okay? It was nothing, a lot of smoke. He's like, no, I deployed one of the fits. And I'm like, all right. And then all of a sudden it darkened down, the fire was gone. Guys came out, hit the hot spots, and then I realized what he brought in. So yeah, it's very, very efficient. And I believe,
pretty cool.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the insurance companies like these also, right? Don't they buy them? Or?
The insurance companies like them. This is the replacement for the one that we used. This tool is about $1,800.
Wow, really?
And luckily the insurance companies will reimburse the vast majority of the cost because they recognize the value that we're saving.
Yeah, sure.
Are
they only available for first responders?
Yeah.
Fire departments?
Yep.
Not for the public.
Not for the public. But this here, I mean, when we used it in the Dogwood fire, we used a total of about 200 gallons of water inside that house. And normally we would use probably 4,000 or 5,000 gallons of water to put that fire out.
Where this doesn't.
Where this did it.
Short amount of time.
Short amount of time, we reduced the damage that we had.
That's cool. Well, I really appreciate it, man. It's not an average day where you get to see the workings of the command part of the fire department. So, thank you very much.
No problem.
Sergeant Conklin, Detective Chaika, and I have turnout gear very similar to the fire department's PPE, personal protective equipment that we use to investigate our fires. Our turnout coats, really just basic
Now, are these
stuff.
the same as the fire department?
Yes. Yep. And I have a couple different helmets, different scenarios, different helmets for different scenarios. Depending on if it's an incendiary or suspicious fire, you want to look and see what type of evidence we could find. Very tedious training that we've had. I've gone to the ATF bomb school, bomb training for, again, post-blast investigations.
Right.
And the fire arson investigation class, which does bomb training and post-blast investigations, FBI school. So
So how much training total do you think you have under your belt?
Hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
Because you've been a fire investigator for how long?
2005, I believe I got certified.
Okay.
So really just garden tools, little shovels to, again, pull the debris out.
Right.
Just really.
I mean, what do you, because you're getting, if you can explain to people that aren't familiar with this kind of stuff, I mean, the stuff you're exposed to, as far as the toxins and
gases,
all that stuff.
carbon monoxide.
Even after the fire's put out,
it's
probably
always
more
lingering
so
in the air. It's worse then.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's everywhere. You got to really protect yourself and make sure you don't come out of there messed up.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you.
That's it, real basic.
911, where's your emergency? 911? Yes, get out of the house. Yes, get everybody out of the house, okay? 911, where's your emergency?
No, it broke out everywhere. It's in the family room, and it broke out all over the place.
Try and get everybody out. Make sure everybody's, out of the house. We're getting everybody over there, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, bye-bye. Stand by, Fire District 1 and 3. Fire dispatch to Fire District 1 and 3 in Stockton Court for a structure fire. You said everybody's out, correct, sir?
Yes, everybody's out in the house. Nobody else is in there, right?
Okay, what's on fire, sir? Is it the front of the house, the side of the house?
You can't find the dog.
Headquarters 4 out of 5 on.
4. Okay.
Stockton Court for a structure fire. Stay by.
Boy, got it.
Working on evacuation. 4A, 5A reported as fully involved.
Bay headquarters, I see heavy black smoke.
F4, they are stating that one unit in that row is already fully engulfed.
4 out of 5 rounds, go to evacuate the rest of the houses in that area. Outside, try to block the street off so nobody comes down. The fire department come down Continental. If they come off at 10 Continental, it's going to be the first left on Stockton. If not, they come around, it's going to be second right on Stockton. PQ's out.
10-4.
Headquarters, you know if everybody's out.
They're working on it. Department's on scene working on getting everybody out to multiple dwelling structure.
Thomas 63 is on Stockton.
10-4.
Headquarters, all surrounding units have been evacuated.
10-4.
Sirs, we got 2 dogs in the adjoining house. I'm trying to get out. 43 headquarters.
Go ahead.
43, 53, 63, 97. 3's out on Stockton. 402's out on Stockton. 76. Go ahead.
Are you able to get around back to Stockton and Patriots to block access down?
2 minutes, boss, yes.
10-4.
Yeah.
If you're not needed, there's an alarm.
PQ headquarters.
Yeah, PQ.
if you have any other call stuff here, all the units are tied up. We'll have to call out Human Services in Benville to help out.
Chopper 2 flew over the scene in Parsippany this morning as flames and smoke spread throughout a home. CBS News' Allie Bauman joins us live from the scene with more on all of this. Allie, good afternoon.
To make conditions even more dangerous, this home is at the bottom of a hill here, turning the front driveway basically into an ice rink. Right now, authorities are trying to figure out where exactly in this home the fire started and how. We are live in Parsippany, New Jersey. Allie Bauman, CBS 2 News.
All right, so I'm with Detective Chaika. He's one of the fire investigators for the department. We have multiple townhouses on fire, and we are on our way up to that the location. So far, what we know right now is that there's 2 units, possibly 2 townhouses destroyed. At least 4. Can you have the prosecutor's office arson unit contact Marston's cell? So you see here, this is obviously the main reason why we need to shut everything down from a distance, because of all the apparatus that's got to respond here. You have pretty much every fire truck in the area, not to mention all the fire hose. So it's obviously obstructing all the roadway. Here's the fire. Oh,
you want to,
fireman, come on.
If you want to shoot a text to Husky, I'm sure you appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Have all the medical equipment standing by just in case. So Marston is now conferring with one of the officers that was first on scene. And obviously Marston can't go in there until the fire's completely knocked down for his investigation. This is Sergeant Jazecki. He's the squad supervisor for one of the shifts here on the day shift, and we're the first supervisor that's on scene.
We're going to try to find them shelter. Well, like I said, we have an excellent, community center. We have we help our residents out.
The freezing air certainly made this one a tougher battle for the 8 different fire departments that responded.
We're doing a little commentary while we have a chance before, we get into the investigative part of it. Chief Phillips, Captain Wieners are here. Chief, you come out for anything like this?
It's a major incident. This would qualify as a major incident. I like to come out and make sure that everything's going smoothly. This is a tragedy for the people involved.
Yeah, totally. I heard that come over the radio. You just jumped right in the car and took off from the office. I was saying before that, even though Captain Wiener's in the Support Services Division, he's still going to come out to the scene as well. He's also on the fire department here in town, so he can assist that way as well and coordinate with the officers.
Also the fire liaison.
And the fire liaison, correct, yeah. You have anything to say on this?
It's just, at this point we're hoping that everybody's okay. It's a cold day. There's going to be a lot. It's manpower intensive for everybody. We've got a lot of traffic issues that we have to deal with, scene security and investigation. So just from the police department's end, we've got 3 major responsibilities. Again, being traffic, scene control, and the investigation. That's all coordinated with the fire department, making sure we have all the same information, everybody's on the same page. We have to coordinate our information with EMS. A hectic scene like this, a lot of times you'll find that victims get transported to the hospital before people realize it, right, because everybody else has other things to do. So we try to collect as much information as early as possible so that we have good situational awareness.
Right. This is Tracy. You were right around the corner, or where were you guys?
We were right down on Parsippany Road in 202, so we responded up here. We got here in about 5 minutes, and the house was fully involved. Once we got up here, we established if there was any patients, any additional resources that we need. We ended up requesting ambulances from both the volunteer agencies, 65 and 66, and also St. Clair's.
Which are our volunteer?
Our volunteer in the town, and then we also requested St. Clair's BLS from the local hospital, and then we also requested the Rehab County ambulance to provide rehab for the firefighters and if there's any additional patients on scene.
You said one victim to the hospital, everybody else is treated and released?
One patient has been transported to the hospital, as far as we know.
Okay.
And now it's just making sure that all the personnel in the house and around the house are staying safe, and we'll provide any assistance for them for that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sorry
you.
to take up your time. Take care. All right, so I was able to get a couple seconds here with Officer Jay Lubeck. He was first on scene, or one of the first on scene?
First on scene.
First on scene.
First on scene.
So it was fully engulfed, correct?
Fully engulfed.
And what did you do from that point? You know,
block off traffic, start evacuating the houses, make sure that there was nobody in the adjoining houses.
Were there anybody around?
Gentleman on the one side, right next to the house that was on fire, had 2 dogs. Ran in there, grabbed them real quick, got them out. There was, the one victim was in there. We got her out. She seemed like she was pretty good at first. I'm not sure of her status.
Yeah, I don't know her status. So basically, it's still an active fire scene because we don't know the cause. So, law enforcement perspective, we're still treating it as a scene.
As a scene, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. I'm glad you were safe and you didn't get hurt. Thank you. All right, so I grabbed Martin just to do a quick update. Basically, what's going on at this point?
Well, we're still waiting to get in there. We're probably won't be able to get in there without shoring up the structure, what's left of it. It's pretty heavy damage in there. So it's going to take us a little bit to make sure it's safe for us to go in and find the origin and cause.
And they're still actively fighting the fire? Is that what's going on? Or they just keep everything wet so it doesn't rekindle?
They're overhauling, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and once they pick stuff up, there's a little bit of fire here and there.
Now, with something like this that's like really heavily damaged, I mean, how do you even start investigating that?
Well, you start from the outside in, so least damage to the heaviest damage.
Okay.
We'll try to figure out as much as we can.
Okay. All right, thanks, man. I'm going to probably head out.
All right.
I'm Jen Sikora, and I'm on Parsippany Volunteer Ambulance Squad 65. We checked all the firefighters' blood pressures and their vitals to make sure that their vitals are all within normal range, make sure that nobody's doing anything that's going to get themselves hurt. Transport them to the hospital if they need to go to the hospital.
Okay.
Hopefully we don't have to do that, and we transport any other victims that we may have while we're here.
Well, thank you so much for doing what you do and keeping everybody hydrated and as warm as you can. And everything else.
Exactly.
Thank you.
That's a big thing, is keeping them warm.
Yeah, definitely.
Because even though they have all that gear on, they're sweating.
Yeah.
And what happens to water and cold? It turns to ice.
Yeah.
They still are at risk to get frostbite and freeze.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I have a rare opportunity here. I'm here with Jen Maxfield, reporter for Channel 4 News, and I just wanted to, since we never get this side of it, I figured thank you so much for giving me the time on my my lavalier mic that I'm using.
The shoe is on the other foot now.
You don't often see that.
It goes the other.
A couple questions I want to ask is, now that I'm one of the public information officers for the department, and before I went into the sports services division, all the time I had on the road, the road officers don't know the challenges that reporters have for coming on a scene like this. So I was wondering if you could share like some of the obstacles you have to go through to even get on the scene. First of all, being that the press is a vital part, but it's at the time not the priority for some of the cops. So.
Right. Well, I should start by saying that the challenges we face pale in comparison to the challenges that are faced by the first responders. I mean, this was called in at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's now almost 11. The firefighters have been out here fighting this fire for 3 hours, and so I just want to give much respect to all the first responders.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
But with that being said, it's important for us as local news reporters to tell people what's going on, both in this neighborhood and in the tri-state area, but it's not always easy to have access. So sometimes we have to speak with roads are closed. We have to speak with several officers about how to get in.
Right.
Then once we get in, we have to carry all of our equipment in. And then it's just a matter of trying to talk to everybody and get our facts straight so that when we do report the story, it's accurate.
Right.
That means talking to you for the Parsippany Police, talking to the Mount Tabor Fire Chief, and also speaking with neighbors.
Okay.
And then finally, the other part of our job now that's so important is because pretty much everybody has a phone with a camera on it, is finding video.
Right.
So, as I said, this is called in at 8 o'clock. By the time we got here, the fire was out.
Right.
We do have a news chopper that flew over the scene, so we have video like that. But now the challenge is trying to find video that shows the fire at its worst when it was burning out of control. And that's important, number one, so that our viewers see what happened, but also so that they have a greater understanding of what the firefighters and the police are doing out here and the challenges they were up against with the weather, and also the fact this is a pretty bad fire.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. Like I was saying earlier, it's a volunteer fire department, and they do an outstanding job. I mean, I give these guys a lot of credit, you know. And I just want to, thank you for coming out here and covering the story as well. I know not all police officers want to open up to you or can, say an official word. I know it's kind of tough to get a story out. So, just like we're kind of sometimes put in a bad light, I know that the reporters are too, and they have a tough job. So thank you so much, and I'm trying to get out of here safely. It's icing up a little bit, so all right, thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah,
thank
likewise.
You.
Thanks a lot.